So again, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate you sharing your beautiful evening. I mean, we should all be outside right now because it's ridiculously awesome. So yeah, just kind of quick overview. So again, Crimson Wine Group, we own all of our vineyards, and that's very important. When you own your vineyards, you control the means of production, you control how you farm, and you can really make the best product possible. So we have 5 estate vineyards. We're showing 4 of them right now. So Pine Ridge is what we started with. Pine Ridge is located right in the heart of the Stag's Leap district. The first white you had here was a Chenin Blanc Viognier blend. So Chenin Blanc is originally from the Loire Valley of France, and Viognier is originally from the Rhone Valley of France. In France, these grapes would never meet. You would go to jail, honestly, if you blended them together. You could be thrown in jail. So America, we kind of do things our own way. As far as we're aware, while these grapes have appeared in other people's blends, we're the very first winery to really focus on the 2 specifically. And as you can tell, it makes a really lively, really refreshing, beautiful little white wine. For a wine that retails between $10 and $14, it's got 90 points from Robert Parker 5 years in a row. That to me is a value. So it's a really killer wine. Next up is the Archery Summit Pinot Gris. So Archery Summit is located right in the Dundee Hills of Willamette Valley. The Dundee Hills, in my opinion, is the best sub-appellation. And the reason for that is what's known as Jory soil. It's a volcanic clay soil, really reddish hue, and it adds a nice aromatics and really spiciness to whites and reds. And so this Pinot Gris is a really small production. Literally, I get 60 cases for the state of Colorado. It's just a beautiful little white wine, no oak at all on it, no malolactic, but as you can tell, very aromatic and really refreshing. The next wine is one of our sister properties in Edna Valley. That is the Chamissault Vineyard. It was the very first vineyard planted in the Edna Valley back in 1973. So Edna Valley, just to kind of give you some geographical reference, is north of Santa Barbara. It's right by San Luis Obispo. It's a very, very small appellation. It's really close to the ocean, about 10 miles from the ocean. So perfect cool climate for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir specifically. So this had no oak at all, no malolactic finish at all. But a lot of Ono Chardonnays kind of are just all acid, and sometimes they're a little too much. So we wanted to have a little bit of texture, a little bit of nice refreshing aromatics. And so we did a really slow cold fermentation. And again, a beautiful little white wine, regularly gets 90 points, and it's just a fun Chardonnay, particularly as things warm up. Getting into the red wines, or as a good buddy of mine calls them, the real wines. We've got Cabernet coming up first, Forefront by Pine Ridge. So Forefront is a source fruit program. So that is the only non-estate wine on here. We do have some estate fruit in it, but what we do is we go year to year and find the best grapes, and it should be said grapes, not wine. A lot of people buy bulk wine and slap their label on it. We buy grapes. We make them at Pine Ridge. That's why we put it on the label that we're just as proud of it as we are our estate wines. But it offers a Cabernet at a really nice price point. And then finishing off in my opinion, really, Segaisu is the king of Zinfandel. They are the best producer of it. And the reason for that is we do really focused, really pure, really bright Zinfandels. Zinfandel, sometimes you've had them where they're huge and overripe and jammy, and sometimes like 17% alcohol. It's almost port-like. And so what we did, we wanted to have an elegant Zinfandel, a world-class wine. We hired Dr. Phil Freeze in 1993, who was the viticulturist who planted the Opus One vineyard, ran the Opus One vineyard for 10 years, and that's one of the top Cabernets coming from Napa Valley. And we asked him, teach us how to farm Zinfandel as if it was first growth Bordeaux, as if it was world-class Cabernet. And no one had really done that with Zinfandel. Zinfandel can grow like a weed. It can get 10, 20 tons per acre. We, on average, are getting 2 to 3 tons per acre. And that farming, you can have the best vineyards, but if you farm them awfully, you're going to have a bad wine. If you overcrop too much, you're going to have a bad wine. You got to have so many right choices to make world-class wines. You have to have the best vineyards in the best location, planted with the right clones and the right rootstock. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong before it comes to us. So Segaisu is the leader of Zinfandel. They truly are. Our wines have appeared in the Wine Spectator Top 100 8 times in the last decade. That is by far more than any other Zinfandel producer, more than Turley, more than Ridge, more than anyone else you can name. This little wine right here a few years ago was number 6 in the top 100, which for a wine that's $20, that's, again, a value. And then last will be the Old Vine Zinfandel. So unfortunately, there's no legal definition for old vine. For us, it's a minimum 50 years old. So the older the vines, as the vines get older and more mature, they produce less and less fruit. But that fruit is more concentrated, more complex, and really just the best of the best. And so that's what we're finishing off with, is the Old Vine Zinfandel. All these wines have been highly rated in the past. I don't have accolades on them currently because these are the new releases. So again, thank you very much for coming.